This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, it doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, yes. And another yes, it does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, today is Thursday, May the 28th of 2026. And we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And we are hanging out with our why do I want to call it our friends and colleagues? What is our families and friends is what I called it yesterday. Jeez, can't even get it straight anymore. Radio. I figured out what it was. I'm watching some show called Friends and Family, I think is what it is. And that's why I called them that yesterday. Anyway, so how are you? Hopefully everything is good and grand inside of your neck of the woods as we are hanging out doing all of the fun stuff that we get to do. No doubt about that. Oh, they're throwing this my way, so I guess I need to use this. Hold on.
Welcome to the party. Now go grab some coffee, hide from responsibility for a little bit, and crank it up. The show is on.
Okay, I guess the show is on, so let's get it started for this lovely Thursday. It is almost the end of the week. This week has flown by already. Let's just not lie about everything that's going on, because, man, I look at it and go, didn't it just start?
Duh.
I mean, it just is the way that it goes. So anyways, as we are hanging out here today and doing all the fun stuff, I have to tell you, a lot of stuff going on inside of the multiverse. We are getting everything kind of rolling for you today as we are hanging out on this lovely Thursday. So a lot of stuff to discuss, a lot of stuff to discover, and a lot of stuff to roll with. So there you go. Anyways, with that being said, let's kind of get through the whole thing and talk about this. Our show consists of safety in the news and safety. That's just kind of what it is. That is what we talk about. That is what we do. That's how we roll. That's how we bowl in the whole 9 yards here. So with that being said, I do bring in some professional broadcasters, and they talk about what the hell's going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that's just what they do. And then I kind of hang out and tell you everything that I can find news story-wise. And people go, well, why are you talking about news stories? Why are you talking about news stories? Well, we talk about news stories because we want you to know everything that is going on. Because if you go into a meeting and you're just straight talking about safety, nobody's going to care about what you have to say. I know, it is so sad to say it in that fashion, but it's the truth. So with that being thought about for a moment, that's kind of how we do our thing. We talk a little bit about everything that's going on. This way we can get moving and grooving. So if you're good with that, I'm good with it. And then we can get this way, that way, and the other. So if you want to interact with the show, simple process on doing so, go to callinradio.com. Once you get there, it's going to give you some options, audio, video, and text messaging. Audio, video, and text messaging are going to be the options of everything that's going on inside of the multiverse. And then we just kind of roll. So if you're good with that, I'm good with that. So with that being said, I do have my friends waiting from Feature Story News. They're ready to talk about what the hell is going on inside of the multiverse. So if you're good with that, I'm good with that. And then we can get everything going. Yeah, everything going. Because I think it's important for us to discuss what is going on in real time. So let's go ahead and do that right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Feature Story News in New Delhi. I'm Neha Punya. The US has conducted strikes in Iran hours after President Donald Trump rejected Iranian state media claims that Tehran has obtained a draft for an unofficial framework for ending the war with the US. The White House called that a complete fabrication, and during a cabinet meeting, President Trump expressed indifference to the political pressure caused by the unpopularity of the conflict. Kate Fisher is in Washington.
Mr. Trump says Iran made a mistake by thinking impending elections would pressure him into making a deal, saying, "I don't care about the midterms." He increased pressure on his Gulf allies, saying that he might refuse a deal with Iran if they don't sign on to the Abraham Accords, agreements aimed at normalizing relations between Israel and its longtime adversaries in the Middle East. The president also appeared to criticize Oman's negotiations with Iran over possible fees on ship traffic in the Strait, even saying Oman will behave just like everybody else or the US would have to blow them up. He also insisted there was no discussion of financial relief for Iran before it fulfills its commitments.
Asian markets are down, meanwhile, on Thursday amid mixed signals from these ongoing Iran-US negotiations. Japan's Nikkei 225 fell over 1% in early afternoon trade, while South Korea's Kospi plunged more than 2.8%. Rebecca Bunton has more.
Asian shares faltered on Thursday as investors turned cautious, with news of the US carrying out fresh military strikes in Iran overnight. This comes as negotiations continue to try to end the conflict. Oil prices rose amid these conflicting signals over the talks, and after President Donald Trump dismissed an Iranian report of a deal to restore traffic through the Strait of Hormuz. Bourses across Asia fell, with the Nikkei and Kospi slumping, while the Shanghai Composite Index was down over 0.1% by late morning there. Stock markets in India were closed on Thursday on account of the Eid holiday.
Officials in New York and New Jersey are launching a probe into FIFA, the world's football governing body, over concerns about unfair ticket pricing practices for matches at MetLife Stadium. It is now 2 weeks until the World Cup begins, but so far issues surrounding tickets, visas and a shortage of hotel bookings have dominated headlines. Mitch McCann has more.
MetLife Stadium in New Jersey will host 8 matches during the FIFA World Cup, including the final on the 19th of July. And in many cases, fans from across the world have paid thousands of dollars for a single ticket to watch the sports showpiece event. On Wednesday, it was revealed that Attorney General Letitia James of New York and Attorney General Jennifer Davenport of New Jersey launched a fresh probe into how FIFA has been charging for tickets, and they say it's to ensure fans are not taken advantage of. The first concern relates to reports about seats fans purchased within a range of categories, where tickets were bought based on stadium maps only for new, more premium seating to be released within the same categories.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, hearing once again today from Tom Fletcher, the United Nations top humanitarian aid official who is charged with the extraordinarily complicated task of trying to bring sufficient assistance to Gaza. Yesterday, we heard about the ups and downs of being allowed by the Israelis to bring urgently needed materials into the territory. There have been some gains in recent weeks, but also still some significant roadblocks. But Mr. Fletcher is also charged with overseeing how to deal with all the rubble and unexploded ordnance left after the Israelis laid waste to Gaza.
While I was there, I was seeing the scale of that job, because you're clearing out lots of dead bodies from the rubble and away from the roads, but you're also then trying to clear the unexploded ordnance from underneath those buildings. And people are going back and putting their tents on the rubble. And so we're getting lots of injuries as a result of that. We haven't moved properly to that phase 2, where we can really talk about even early recovery, as we call it in the business, or and proper reconstruction. And we hear a lot of talk about Rivieras and so on. Gaza, let me be absolutely clear, is not a Riviera right now.
He says the Trump administration deserves credit for increasingly assisting the United Nations as it goes about its work in Gaza, which is not something you often hear about from Washington. But on the ground, some kind of working relationship does appear to be advancing. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
The main news again. The US has conducted strikes in Iran hours after President Donald Trump rejected Iranian state media claims that Tehran had obtained a draft of an unofficial framework for ending the war with the US. Asian markets are down on Thursday amid these mixed signals from the ongoing Iran-US negotiations. Officials in New York and New Jersey are launching a probe into FIFA, the world's football governing body, over concerns about unfair ticket pricing practices. And that is the latest feature story news. Neha Punya reporting.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly. Less than $2 a month and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
In safety, in my opinion, you woke up. You saw the system, the simulation, the structure that trained you to mistake compliance for care. Safety mutation. Information misdirection picks up where the signal fractured. Because the system didn't shut you down, it rebranded you. It packaged your voice, sold your rebellion as a new initiative, and smiled while doing it. This isn't a manual. It's a decoded transmission about what happens when slogans replace stories, when safety becomes marketing, and when truth gets mirrored so perfectly, you forget it was ever yours. You'll see the mutation. Learning teams turned into theater, zero harm turned into optics, and feedback turned into formatting. But the signal didn't die. It was redirected. Safety Mutation is Book 2 of the Signal Transmission Trilogy. Available now in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by the author J. Allen, Ph.D. Because the system adapted. Now it's your move.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Oh, yeah. 14 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Thursday and hanging out and doing all kinds of fun stuff as we are talking. Okay, so where do we want to start here? I got some stuff. I got some stuff to start off with. So should we talk? I mean, realistically, I don't ever know where to start because I always have kind of that weird thing going, okay, don't know here, don't know there, and all that stuff. So what if we just started with something kind of weird? Maybe odd, maybe not so glamorous. Maybe if it was well, how can I put this? Because I saw this story and I was debating about starting off with it. Oh, this thing just kicked me out. About starting off with it, but then I was like, I'm not sure if this is the greatest story to start off with, because it's normally dealing with, how people don't pay attention to stuff. But I guess we'll start off with this one. A 50-year-old man in Russia spent a year and a half walking around with nearly a 5-inch, hold on, I didn't get to the rest of it, tree branch lodged inside of his skull and had no idea it was there. Yuri was chopping maple branches in his garden back in 2024, and he felt a sharp pain in his left eye. He assumed it was a splinter had hit him, but after the pain faded, well, he shrugged it off and moved on. Problem was that the branch didn't move on. Over time, Yuri kept having random eye pain and discomfort, but multiple doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong. The thing got worse. His vision started failing, and an MRI at Kirk's Regional Hospital revealed the unbelievable. A 12 centimeter, yes, 12 centimeter branch had pierced through his eye socket and deep into his skull, dangerously close to his brain. Doctors managed to remove the branch through his nose without making external cuts, and somehow Yuri kept his eyesight. He now is recovering and expected to make a full comeback. Imagine having a splitting headache, and it turns out that you had a literally it was dealt by lumber. So think about that for a moment. You're walking around with 5 inches of lumber essentially inside of your eye socket, and you weren't even sure that it was happening. I mean, talk about things getting weird. I mean, I had seen that one, and I wasn't sure if we should have that discussion right away.
Duh.
But it was just one of those weird things to think about. Man, think about how strange that would have to be when it's all said and done. So let's jump around a little bit, because that's what I think what we should do. Someone sent this in, so I kind of figured that we should talk about it. Did you know pickles can calm your nerves? Yeah. That pickle craving might be your brain talking. Fermented foods like pickles contain probiotics that support gut health. And researchers now know that gut and brain are heavily connected. Happier gut bacteria can actually help reduce anxiety and stress. I have a friend that she really is down with the pickle stuff, says that, it's the greatest thing on the planet, and seems to enjoy them most than what I know from other people. I don't know. I look at it and I go, it's not probably something that I would go for. So what do you think about this? Do you think that it has the possibility of calming nerves or not? I'm just asking the question because it's kind of an interesting one as we are talking. Okay, so let's talk about this one real quick, because this one has been blowing out of control here. Google is turning on the online shopping even more of an AI-powered experience with a new feature called Universal Cart. The tool acts like a smart shopping cart that follows users across Google Search, Gemini app, YouTube, and even Gmail. As shoppers browse online, the AI automatically tracks products, monitors price drops, and compares deals and alerts users of items come back into stock. Google says customers will also be able to check out quickly using Apple Pay, making the process more seamless across the platform. Universal Cart launches in the U.S. this summer, and Search and Gemini with YouTube and Gmail integration are coming later. The move could shake up the e-commerce, because Google is no longer just helping people find products. It's starting to guide the entire shopping experience. Some users online say that the idea is exciting, while others raise privacy concerns and worried about one company controlling too much of the buying process. Design expert Ravi Sagni said that it was the natural next step for AI, where shopping becomes less about searching and more about having technology predict what people want before they fully decide themselves on what they want. So what do you think here? I'm only asking this question because there is the rumor circulating that with everything that had just happened at Google I/O, that Google will be the first company to lead us to singularity.
Duh.
I'm just saying, leading us to singularity.
Duh.
So if you think about that for a moment, does it have the potential of doing that? And, there's that whole concept of singularity when it's all said and done on how that would end up working. But I don't know. They seem to be tying everything inside of their ecosystem. Now, think about this for just a moment. WWDC, which is the Worldwide Development Conference that happens with Apple, will be next month. And the rumor circulating on the street is that Gemini will be tied in heavily into the new Siri. So what do you think is going to happen? I'm just asking. Now, if that's the case, we'll see exactly what's going to happen in the world, because that's going to make it very interesting when it's all said and done. So there you go. Okay, so let's talk about this today, because today is National Burger Day, and I want to help you out. So it triggers a wave of burger promotions, including free hamburgers at Burger King Royal Perks members and other dozens of additional deals from chains like Bad Daddy, Big Buns, and Jack in the Box. So Burger King is doing free hamburgers with a $3 purchase for Royal Perks members who are receiving the app or are using the app or the website, because eligible can score a free Spotify premium trial. Bad Daddy Burger Bars featuring a Smashdilla burger for National Burger Month. Big Buns rewards members get a free classic burger with the purchase from May the 28th to the 31st. Buffalo Wild Wings new reward members get a free burger with a purchase of $15. Carl's Jr. and Hardee's buy one famous star, get one for a penny through the app rewards program. Checkers and Rallies buy the classic burger and get another one free from the 27th through the 28th. Del Taco buy a double Del cheeseburger and get one free from May the 28th to the 30th. Dairy Queen DQ rewards members get $1 off the signature stack burger all week. Duffy Sports Grill Angus cheeseburger and fries for $7.99 with beverage purposes. Farmer Boys $3.99 with Big Cheese cheeseburgers and royalty members. Firebirds wood-fired grill, $14.95, perfect pair featuring smash burger plus a side of soup or salad. Good Times Burger frozen custard, $2.99. I mean, I think we get the deal. We're going to be here for the rest of the day if I continue reading this. So look at your favorite burger chain, because they got some deals going on with some burgers today. Is definitely what it sounds like. So there you go. Whataburger, by the way, free hamburger with the medium fries and with medium fries and drink purchase for reward members. So there you go. Okay, so let's get into some of the heavy stuff because that's just kind of what we do around here. Donald Trump raised eyebrows during a cabinet meeting after making a surprise comment about longtime U.S. ally Oman while discussing the tense situation at the Strait of Hormuz. When asked whether he was comfortable with Oman helping brokers peace talks between the U.S. and Iran over control of the vital oil route, Trump said that the strait would stay open and that the U.S. would watch over it. But the things took a hard left turn when Trump added Oman will behave just like everybody else, or we'll have to blow them up, before quickly saying they'll be fine. The comment immediately sparked confusion since Oman had been one of America's closest diplomatic partners in the region for decades. So some things to give some consideration to as we are talking. So there you go. Okay, take a listen to this one, because this one's been making the headlines all over the place. Kyle Busch has had reportedly seriously ill for weeks before a sudden death at the age of 41. And the new details from his death certificate paint a brutal picture of how quickly things spiraled. According to reports, what started off as a sinus infection turned into a severe bacteria pneumonia and sepsis, and finally a catastrophic chain of reaction inside of his body. Doctors say that the infection led to dangerous blood clotting, organ failure, massive bleeding, and some hemorrhaging that ended up taking place, and some shock is what it sounds like. Bush died on May the 21st, just one day after being rushed to the hospital in North Carolina. A 911 call revealed that Bush had collapsed while using the racing simulator and had been coughing up blood before paramedics arrived. Earlier in the month during the race at Watkins Glen, Bush had reportedly told his team that he needed a doctor and was waiting for him afterwards because he felt so bad. So there you go. Some terrible news, and just in regard to hearing the whole thing when it's all said and done. So there you go. Okay, so let's continue talking about some other stuff that is going on inside of the world
here.
Okay, so take a listen to this real quick. Joe Biden is suing the United States Department of Justice to stop the release of audio recordings and transcripts from the interviews that he did with ghostwriter Mark Zutner years before becoming president. The recordings were collected during a special counsel Robert Hur's investigation into the Biden's handling of classified documents. Now, according to the lawsuit, the Justice Department plans to turn the material over to Congress and the Heritage Foundation. Biden's attorneys argue that the interviews were private conversations recorded inside his home and says that releasing that would be an invasion of privacy. They also pointed out the Justice Department had previously claimed that the files were exempt from public disclosure laws. The interviews happened between 2016 and 2017 while Biden was working on memoirs with his ghostwriter. Hur later reviewed the material as part of the classified documents probe that became a major political flashpoint. So there you go. There you go. What do you think? So, I mean, it's going to be definitely one of those interesting things because how are you going to be able to release some of these things? Especially if they were, recorded inside of a private residence and all the fun stuff that normally comes inside of this as we are talking. So there you go. I don't know. It always becomes an interesting one as we start talking about politics around here.
Which I love so much.
So it just gets a weird thing. So in some bad news, take a listen to this real quick. Pam Bondi has reportedly been battling thyroid cancer after being removed from her role as Attorney General by Donald Trump earlier this year. According to reports, Bondi underwent treatment and is now recovering. Friends and former colleagues say that she is handling the diagnosis quietly while continuing to stay involved in the Trump world politics. One former White House official even posted online that Bondi has been quietly kicking cancer's ass. The news surfaced as reports claim that Trump plans to appoint Bondi as the AI-focused advisor board called the Presidential Council of Advisors of Science and Technology. I almost said Scientology. Bondi was fired the same day that she joined Trump at the Supreme Court of the United States for arguments of major birthright citizenship case. Despite losing the Attorney General's job, she later posted that serving as the administration was an honor of her lifetime and promised to keep fighting for the president. The good news is thyroid cancer generally has a very high survival rate when caught and treated early. So great to hear that she's recovering. Terrible to hear that she got cancer. You don't want that on anyone, that's for sure. But it becomes one of those weird things as we are talking about. So there you go. A lot of stuff to discuss as we are talking here.
Always replicated, but never duplicated. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about this one because we were talking about Biden earlier. So let's talk about the other side of the coin here. Jill Biden says that watching her husband during the disastrous 2024 debate against Donald Trump was so alarming that she feared that he was having a stroke. In a new interview with CBS News Sunday morning set to air this weekend, Jill said that she'd never ever seen Joe Biden look or sound that way, and he did it on the debate stage in Atlanta. She said that she wasn't horrified. She was frightened. The debate instantly became a political earthquake after Biden stumbled over answers, lost his train of thoughts multiple times, and struggled to respond to Trump's attacks on immigration and the economy. At the time, Biden's campaign blamed the bad cold, while Biden himself later admitted that he felt terrible that night. The fallout from the debate fueled growing concerns over Biden's age and fitness for another term, eventually leading him to drop out of the presidential race and endorse Kamala Harris. Jill had publicly defended him immediately afterwards, even praising him on stage after the debate by saying that he answered every question and knew all the facts. But now, nearly 2 years later, she's revealing just how scared she really was behind the scenes.
Were you horrified as you saw it unfold?
I wasn't horrified, I was frightened because I had never, ever seen Joe like that before or since. Never.
Or since?
Yes. Or
You've
since.
never seen him like
Never.
that?
No.
What happened?
I don't know what happened. I mean, as I watched it, I thought, oh my God, he's having a stroke. And it scared me to death.
Definitely has to be a scary situation when you see your significant other having that kind of a performance issue overall, especially in such a large crowd. If you kind of give it some thought there, that is for sure. So let me talk about this one, even though this is going to be kind of, we'll say, quote unquote, entertainment focused, but I want to talk about it for just a moment. Matthew Perry's former assistant has officially learned the definition of consequences. Kenneth Iwasawa was sentenced to 3 years and 5 months in prison for giving the fatal ketamine dose that killed the beloved Friends star in 2023. The federal prosecutors said that Kenneth injected Perry multiple times a day despite having zero medical training, and even saw the actors pass out several times before his death. Prosecutors said that instead of helping Perry stay sober, he became his drug supplier and enabler. Perry was found dead at the age of 54, with the autopsy ruling his death was caused by acute effects of ketamine, along with drowning and heart disease as contributing factors. Perry's had been open for years about his battles with addiction. Kenneth is the last of 5 people sentenced in the case. Others included doctors, counselors, alleged dealers that were nicknamed, apparently, the ketamine queen, who got the harshest sentence at 15 years behind bars. Yesterday, Keith Morrison, Matthew's stepfather, told ET that he had given Kenneth more time, that he wishes they would have given Kenneth more time behind bars. Take a listen.
I would have given him more, but the sentencing guidelines are pretty strict.
So there you go. I guess that's directed to the point. No reason to get punchy here in regards of what the hell's going on. There you go. Some stuff to talk about as they are talking for sure about what's going on inside of the world. Man, what a crazy time we're living in when we start taking a look around about everything that is going on inside of the world. So there you go. Some things to talk about. No doubt about that. Anyways, with that being said, I think we're close enough for government work. Should I say it that way, or is that going to get me in trouble? For government work in regards to talking about what the hell is going on here. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and get into our main story, because I feel like it's time to do that, because, it's so close. Somebody says that I need to stop saying the time, because sometimes, because of the delay that happens with these satellites and how we're connected, when I say 32 minutes past the top of the hour, sometimes it's not exactly 32. So here's the main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's start talking right away, and it's time for the main story, and I want to take a second, step away from your keyboard, close the spreadsheet, and listen to what we are about to decode, because that's what it's about here. Because today we are going to get deep into the architecture of the Matrix, and we're talking about that ultimate taboo in the modern industry, the safety simulation. Yeah, the safety simulation. And more importantly, we're going to be talking about why corporate safety class has such a violently hard time accepting the simulation even exists. I know, bear with me. Bear with me. And what do I mean when I say the simulation? I'm talking about the artificial corporate construct that systemically trained an entire generation of practitioners to mistake compliance for care. It's the Matrix where high audit scores, color-coded tracking dashboards, and zero-harm optics are weaponized to convince you that an operation is safe, while the actual human beings on the shop floor are there navigating unmitigated chaotic danger in the mud and in the grease. It is a complete synthetic reality. And the hardest part for people is to accept is how seemingly, well, let me rephrase that, how seamlessly the simulation adapts, upgrades, mutates its software every single time a workforce tries to break free. Think about that for a moment. Just for a moment. Think about the eventual chain on how we got there. Look at how the simulation handles rebellion. I really want you to think about this. It started years ago with behavior-based safety, BBS. In the early days of the simulation, the software script was incredibly crude. The mandate was simple: fix the worker. It was the point and blame matrix where supervisors walked around with clipboards, observing frontline crews, checking boxes, and counting how many times someone forgot to grip a handrail. If a multi-ton piece of machinery crushed a worker's hand because, well, that happens, it was an engineering failure. The BBS simulation simply retrofitted the narrative to blame the human. They didn't wear their gloves. They didn't follow the procedure. Case closed.
Case closed.
But eventually the signal started to fracture. The workplace grew exhausted from being treated like broken components in a machine. Progressive thinking began to, look around, as they say, and it said, hold on a second. This doesn't feel right. This isn't safety. This is systemic blame. And so the collective consciousness of the industry began to shift towards human and organizational performance. HOP, as some people call it. Not to be confused with hops, because we're not talking about beer here. We started talking about systems, local context, error traps, and the fact that human error is symptoms of failure, not the root cause. It was beautiful, revolutionary, the moment that was supposed to shatter this simulation entirely. No, seriously, it was supposed to shatter it entirely. But what happened? But what did the corporate matrix do? Did it shut down? Did it surrender? No, of course not. The system didn't break. It just rebranded itself. It adapted, it absorbed the rebellion and packaged your voice and sold it back to you in a new shiny corporate initiative. No, I'm being serious. Just think about it for a moment. Should I give you this one?
Duh.
Now, look at what happened, what the simulation did to HOP. It took the philosophy built around operational humility and system design and ran it through the corporate standardization machine. And suddenly, deep, unconstructed learning teams were mutated into scripted corporate theater. Human performance principles were reduced to corporate slogans and bumper stickers to sell conference tickets. They took the soul out of the philosophy and turned it into another compliance trap, another set of mandatory template forms of digital dashboard matrix to satisfy insurance underwriters. And now, because the simulation never stops evolving, HOP is mutating into other things. We are seeing, sliding head first into the next terrifying phrase of the matrix: algorithmic predictable safety. Now we have multi-million-dollar AI models tracking data points, trying to mathematically calculate human behavior in project organizational failures. From air conditioning office buildings, the simulation has automated the human element completely out of the equation. So this is the loop of the construct. BBS mutated into HOP. HOP is mutating into algorithmic predictability. And every single stop along the way, the corporate structure smiles, rebrands, and tells you it's progressed. Think about that. Just think about that. Think about where you started. Think about where you're going and what's happening so far. So the question that we have to ask ourselves, why do people have such a devastating hard time accepting this? Why do safety professionals fight so aggressively to defend the simulation that they secretly know is broken? It's because of cognitive dissonance. It's a terrifying thing to wake up and look at the system and realize that everything that you've been trained to measure actually isn't real. Actually isn't real. If a safety director accepts that the corporate matrix is just a simulation, they have to look at themselves in the mirror and admit the incredible, uncomfortable truth. They have to admit that 98% compliance audit score didn't actually protect anyone. They have to admit that millions of dollars spent on predictive software and corporate safety theater were just built to shield the organization from liability, not to save lives. They have to face the fact that they have spent 20 years acting like a compliance police guarding the spreadsheet, completely disconnected from the actual physical safety of their crews. It is easier to stay asleep. Think about it. It is safer, warmer, and much more comfortable to stay inside of the simulation. cash the corporate paycheck, and wave the compliance award at the annual meeting, and pretend that checking the box means that you care. People will protect the simulation because their titles, their status, and their security depends entirely on the simulation remaining intact. Think about that just for a brief moment. But this show isn't about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding that exact way that we think, lead, live inside and outside of the construct. So if you want to truly honor the moral obligation to the workforce, you have to possess the courage to see the simulation for what it is. Stop playing your character in the corporate safety theater and stop letting the system format your feedback and package your voice. Reclaim the operational reality and turn off the predictive software dashboard, walk away from the spreadsheet, and step out into the live, dangerous shop floor and start doing the raw, unscripted, yes, unscripted and entirely unglamorous work of protecting human lives in the real world. Now, if anything, let that marinate for a moment, because I'm going to tell you, some people are not going to be super excited about this, but think about it for a moment. We have let these systems develop and change on how we look at things because somebody told you that, hey, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. When you really think about it, it really is not all what it's cracked up to be. And if you look at it and really give it some consideration, are you really protecting the people that are out there working with you or working for you, your team members, or are you really just protecting the title?
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all three books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. They're good. They're very funny.
They're hilarious. They just be whoever they want to be.
It's just really funny.
Rated R Safety Show.
So, do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now? That live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/1. That's safetyfm.com/1. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
If you think local radio sucks, wait till you hear our free-form station, Radio Big.
There'll be loads of people there. Sweet exposure for me. Then posters show up. It don't mean that you're better good and pro. I'm the boss. Are you even gonna pay me? I don't wanna do it. I don't wanna play in your band. I don't wanna do it. I don't wanna play in your band. Yeah, it ain't that good.
Okay, she doesn't want to play in our band because it ain't that good. 45 minutes past the top of the hour. So let me tell you what happened here. I know you've heard this song on this show before because we played it before. And this is Claire Crowder. News for You. Songs readily available on Apple Music, YouTube Music, Spotify, and Pandora. I woke up this morning thinking about this song. And I was like, we have to play it again. So, yeah, we went back and grabbed it one more time. Yeah, I don't know. I get songs stuck in my head and I can't get them out. Same way I get artists stuck in my head and can't stop watching them. That's probably a story for a different day. So there you go. We would like to thank Claire Crowder for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. Yeah, because I definitely don't want to do it. Okay, so anyways, let's get back into the move and the groove of what the hell's going on right here on this show. So as we are talking and hanging out this morning, let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Our Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help, and we want you to know that people have been where you are now. Things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com, To Write Love on Her Arms. Once you get there, you're going to see all kinds of information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorder, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com, To Write Love on Her Arms. Listen, I'm going to tell you, you go to that website, it can change everything for you. No, like seriously, it can change everything for you. It's that important on regards of what the hell they have going on over there on the website. That's TWLOHA.com, To Write Love on Her Arms. Okay. Gonna tell you, once you get there, look around. If there's all kinds of info for you. No doubt about that. I'm gonna tell you, went to that website, been looking at it for years at this particular point. I want to say I heard about this organization. Man, I want to say it was 2007. And I've kind of been enamored ever since in regards of what the hell they have going on, because I've just been so interested. I was at a Switchfoot concert many moons ago. It was brought up then, and ever since then, I was just kind of like, wow. So it's 2007, 2008, just in regards of just what's going on. So yeah, been quite some time in regards to that. Okay, so let's continue talking. As you are aware, July is not that far. If you really give it some consideration, we are almost in June at this point. It is the 28th of May. And I want to tell you about this little thing we have going on. Reality Shifts, an observational symposium taking place in Orlando. Yeah, I'm taking a place in Orlando. Would love to see you there. What are we going to be doing there? Well, we're going to be talking about behavior-based safety. We'll have Nick Weatherly there talking about that. We'll have Todd Conklin there talking about human and organizational performance. Somewhere in between that, we'll have a little documentary that we'll watch there because we're going to be hanging out in a movie theater. And then I'll come back in and talk about signal and simulation stuff. It's going to be a fun-packed day, July the 13th, happening in Orlando, Florida. If you look at the screener, or if you scan that little QR code, it will take you to the event page, or you go to safetyfm.io to find out more information. It's going to be a fun-packed day. We're not doing this one in a hotel. We're doing it in a movie theater, and don't think premium movie theater. I want you to think about it more like a picture show. I want you to think about it more along the lines of tables and chairs in regards on how this would be laid out, because we want to be able to still do stuff, take notes, and all the fun stuff that would kind of coincide with it. No doubt about that. So give that some mind in regards of what the hell we have going on, because we would love to see you there in regards of what the heck is going on. So there you go. A lot of stuff happening inside of that particular day. So come hang out with us. Would love to see you there in regards of what is going on. safetyfm.io, or you can just go to the website safetyfm.com and click on the section that says Hub. You'll find out more information there. Okay, so with that being said, why don't we go ahead and do this real quick? Why don't we go ahead and bring John Small into our life and let him tell us about the Motivation Minute.
Courtesy of JaceCaseMedical.com. Today's quote was submitted by Dobie. Jim Henson said, "Kids don't remember what you try to teach them. They remember what you are." I love this. Jim Henson, by the way, gave us the most amazing gifts. Sesame Street, The Muppets, and one of our favorite Christmas specials, Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. If you've never seen that, you're welcome. I agree with Mr. Henson that kids will remember what you are, but they'll also remember the way you treat them. I met a guy that I'd watched on TV my entire life. He was a beloved man, a legend in our area, larger than life and loved by all. I only met him one time, and it was at the fair, and he was drunk and kind of rude. It makes me really sad that this was my personal experience. Many people who met him had much better encounters. I really don't share that story much. I never even said here who the guy was, but I will always remember meeting. The Motivation Minute. This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
European leaders summoned Russian diplomats Wednesday after renewed threats against Kyiv, deepened fears of wider instability across Eastern Europe again.
Officials from Germany, Norway and the Netherlands demanded explanations following warnings tied to possible strikes near foreign embassies. NATO commanders announced new Baltic defence plans, while European Union officials accused Moscow of increasing regional pressure. Chris Anderson reporting.
Fresh military strikes near southern Iran Tuesday disrupted fragile ceasefire talks and pushed global oil prices sharply higher during tense negotiations.
Iranian officials accused the United States of violating earlier agreements after attacks reportedly targeted missile sites and naval equipment. Mediators from Qatar and Pakistan continued diplomatic meetings as shipping concerns again rattled international energy markets. Benjamin Wright reporting.
Consumer confidence slipped across the United States Tuesday as rising gasoline prices and stubborn inflation strained household spending expectations nationwide again.
New economic data showed Americans growing more cautious about major purchases, while energy costs remain elevated across several states. Financial analysts warned prolonged instability overseas could keep fuel prices high entering the summer travel season. Kyle Norris reporting.
Federal judges Tuesday blocked Alabama's newly approved congressional map, reopening another legal fight over minority voting representation statewide before upcoming elections.
Civil rights groups argued the Republican-backed districts weakened black voter influence across several regions of the state. State attorneys immediately appealed the ruling while election officials reviewed deadlines connected to next year's congressional contests. Lawrence Keller reporting.
Asian markets climbed Wednesday as investors reacted to possible Middle East progress and another surge in artificial intelligence spending worldwide.
Technology companies across South Korea and Taiwan led gains while central banks warned inflation risks still remain elevated. Analysts said easing tensions around the Strait of Hormuz could stabilize fuel supplies and calm trading conditions. Gary Beck reporting.
Lawmakers in several states rushed Tuesday to redraw congressional districts following recent court rulings affecting minority representation and election boundaries nationwide.
Officials in Louisiana and Tennessee reviewed emergency election timelines after judges ordered changes to contested voting maps. Advocacy organizations promised additional lawsuits, while state legislatures prepared for heated debates before candidate filing deadlines arrive. Kevin Sanders, reporting.
President Donald Trump underwent his annual medical examination Tuesday as questions about age and stamina continued surrounding the White House.
White House aides described the examination as routine and said additional results would be released after further review. Political opponents and supporters alike have closely monitored the president's public schedule during a demanding election season. Jessica Oakley reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
The classic hits you've come to know and love. Louder, prouder, and still impossible not to sing along to.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so there you go. Another pitfall of our society is definitely what it sounds like. Let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 1968, the National League grants San Diego Padres a franchise. In 1972, White House plumbers break into the Democratic National HQ headquarters at Watergate. Yeah, might sound familiar. In 1989, Delta Burke, designing women, weds Gerald McRaney, Major Dad. So there you go. Also, let's see, 1997, Bob Dylan is hospitalized in England. Let's see, 1998, actor Phil Hartman was shot to death by his wife, Bryn, who also then took her life. So there you go. Also, in 2025, 3-judge panel on the U.S. Court of International Trade unanimously rules that President Trump exceeded his authority in using International Emergency Economic Powers Act of 1997 to justify Libertarian Day tariffs. Administration immediately appealed. So that all happened back on the dates that we referenced. Okay, what else we got going on? Let's talk about some birthdays going on today. Today is... I can't even talk. Rudy Giuliani turns 82. John Fogerty turns 81. Kylie Minogue turns 58. Justin Kirk, 57. Marco Rubio turns 55 today. Elizabeth Hasselbeck turns 49. And Carrie Mulligan turns 41 today. So there you go. There's some birthdays for you. Some things that you ought to know. Alabama Republicans are asking the Supreme Court of the United States to step in after federal court blocked the state's congressional voting map. The lower court ruled that the map would racially discriminate because it effectively weakened black voting power and reducing majority black districts. Alabama's current map currently includes 2 majority black congressional districts out of 7, while roughly 27% of the state's population is black. Just one day after the ruling, state Republicans filed an emergency request asking the Supreme Court to pause the decision so that the map can still be used for the upcoming midterm election. So there you go. Also, E. Jean Carroll is reportedly under investigation by the United States Department of Justice over possibly perjury tied to the lawsuits against Donald Trump. Carroll previously won 2 civil cases against Trump, including one where the jury found him liable for sexual assault and another for defamation. The investigation is reportedly focused on whether Carroll falsely stated in 2022 the deposition that no outside groups funded her lawsuit, when later filings showed that the billionaire Reid Hoffman helped cover some legal expenses. You know that some people are going to say, well, that's not a group, that's a person. You already know that that's going to happen. Anyways, with that being said, that's going to sum up our time together at the top of the hour. I will be going over to radiobig.fm. If you want to come and hang out with me over the next couple hours or so, we'll be talking about the world of music and entertainment. If you don't want to go over there, you can hang out here with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. If I can leave you with some words of wisdom for today, nobody is coming to save you. At some point, your life becomes your responsibility. If you need some advice for today, try this. Put uncorked rice in a salt shaker to stop clumping. So there you go. Anyways, I'll be gone for the next week or so don't worry. We'll make sure to still take care of you here on the Rated R Safety Show and on Safety FM and on Radio Big. Take care of yourself. I'm going to be gone. I know who you are. Duh. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and/or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and/or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and/or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.